Now, if they say after a while you get to read, you do enough of these, people fall into kind of a routine, or you can kind of spot things. So they'll say, not really. I really don't want them to see me. Would it be a crazy idea if I made a suggestion? No, not at all. I know you don't want to be seen, but would you like to let your family have the option to see you before you were cremated? Well, what do you mean? Well, if we do the private family time and you don't want to be they decide just to cremate you like you want, and they don't want the private family time, then they haven't had to make the decision. Right? So you've given them the option. So if they say, well, no, we just cremate her, fine, we don't want, right, that's done. Okay, but nothing worse than dying, being cremated. Then they're going to sit with the funeral arranger, and the funeral arranger is going to say, I see you want direct cremation. Okay, we can do that. Let me ask you a question. Would you want your loved ones, now you're talking to the survivors, do you want to spend time with your mom and dad before they're cremated? Now they're having to make the decision. So just give them the option. So I can't tell you how many times, just by saying, would it be a crazy idea or would it be a bad idea to give your loved ones the option to see you, even though you don't want to be seen, but give them the option. So now you're taking the onus off of them and you're putting it on the children, because the children are the ones, or grandchildren are the ones that are going to have to make the decision. If nothing, right? The worst thing that happens is when a loved one, family member, survivors are sitting on that side of the table, the funeral arranger or funeral director sitting on this side, they're weeping, right? And the funeral director, they got to try to get information from them. That's what happens when you sit down with somebody and they say, well, that funeral director tried to sell blah, 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 blah. And so that's when you can go, well, that's the reason I'm here, is to help you so that your loved ones don't sit in that same situation. See that? Oh, boy, that's really good. Okay. All right. So those are the 4 options. Some funeral homes with immediate burial include the casket, some don't. You just have to look at their general price list says. Okay. So this is where you're going to get the biggest hang up, is on cremation. Okay. And you got to know how to handle it. Otherwise, what's going to happen, you'll be stuck writing $1,200 deals. When we get into step 4 and how to do it, I'll bring the board out. I'll show you exactly how to do it. But I just want to walk you through this today. Okay. So services, to find out what they want. They say, yeah, I want a traditional burial. Do you want the service to be at the mortuary, a chapel, or a church? They're going to tell you, oh, at the funeral home's fine. Okay, great. Now, do you want to have the visitation the day before or the day of? If you're sitting with people who are Catholic, typically they're old style Catholic, they're going to want to have the rosary the day before or the night before. So then you'll just write day before. Then the graveside service. Now, if you're going to be in a civilian cemetery, you can have a graveside service. If you're going to be in a national cemetery, there is no graveside service. It's called a committal service. And we'll go over that in your notes. I'll show you that in a little bit. Just accept it for now. All right, great. Now, do you want visitation? Well, if they're going to have a visitation the day before, the day of, they want friends? Yeah, check yes. How about your obituary? Do you want your obituary? And it says here newspaper. How many of you read newspaper? Some people that from here that are here are from back east. They might have a newspaper. The reason you want to take your time for this is because this is where you're going to find out how to itemize their wishes and wants. So if they say, well, yeah, I want in the Idaho Times. Okay, just write Idaho Times. Now, sometimes people will say, oh, well, yeah, but nobody reads newspapers. Well, would you like to have it on the funeral home website? Because it's free. Typically it's free. Don't say, well, it's free, because it might not be free, because you don't know. Say, typically it's free. And then you'd mark down obituary, yes or no, whichever one. The newspapers. If they're having tradition, I'm going to do this for you right here. I want you to look right here where it says pallbearer selected by. Hold on just a second here. So my stepdad died last Friday. So I get a text today at 9:59 a.m. from his daughter, who's handling everything. Alan, would you like to be a pallbearer at my dad's funeral? So here, where it says pallbearer selected by, you want to put the person there, right? And then they say, if they start going, well, who's going to be the 6 people, right? Just to put it in your book. Just write it in the personal planning guide. The casket type here, I never fill this in until I'm done. I don't even want to talk about a casket right